Well, there was a famous Radio 1 producer who knew he was going to get fired, so he was just going for it big time. And then it took a lot to get fired from the BBC. And I remember we were doing the Radio 1 club, and he slipped me this Dorothy Squires record, and he said, "Here, Johnny, just come, bung it on." He says, "I only need one ball play and I'll get me gold watch." I knew I was that upfront about it. And I said, "Forget it," you know, chucked it back at him.
But Johnny's name would later be linked with the station's one and only sex scandal, involving hostess Janie Jones, a plaster cast and a two-way mirror. The police were keen to prove that DJs were being offered bribes to play records, but the charges were never proven.
We had fantastic parties, and the disc jockeys would come back, and Tom and Engelbert and Paul and Barry Ryan, Cat Stevens, you know, all of show business would be there at my house every 2 weeks.
Went to this house in Notting Hill Gate. Starting to get a little bit suspicious when I sort of walked in. We had a drink and everything else like that. Well, if you'd like to go upstairs, boys, you know, there's a two-way mirror and there's something quite interesting going on in the other room. So it turned out it was Janie Jones's famous brothel.
You couldn't see his ass for dust up the stairs, and he had this plaster cast on. He had a broken leg of chalk, and he ran up the stairs. I couldn't believe it.
And I ended up having quite a good night there, and then getting called up by Scotland Yard. I said, "Do I have to come down and tell you what happened?" "Yes, you do." And they said, "Well, don't worry, you'll be when it goes to court, you'll be Mr. X or Mr. Y."
So when the trial comes around, I couldn't believe my eyes or ears when I hear Johnnie Walker give evidence to say, "I persuaded him to go up the stairs, I persuaded him to go in there and have sex, and I encouraged him, and I took a whip and give him a little lash and said, 'Go on, get in and get on with it.'"
And one of the girls said, "Yeah, so 3 of us girls on the bed there with this Radio 1 DJ. I remember, yeah, he had his leg in a plaster. Mr. T, yeah." And I remember walking into Radio 1 the next day, and through the glass is Jimmy Young on Radio 2, who hits the intercom button, he goes, "Morning, Mr. T."
While Janie Jones was convicted on other vice charges, Radio 1's reputation survived without a blemish.